Well, hello. Come closer to the fire. Warm yourself? Let me relate to you a grisly tale of Blasphemous Bill Mackay. You see, I took out a contract to bury the body of Blasphemous Bill Mackay, wherever, whenever, or whatsoever the manner of death he die. Whether he die in the light of day, or under a peak-faced moon, cabin or dance hall, camp or dive, muckaluck or pat and shoon, on velvet tundra or virgin peak, by glacier, drift or draw, by muskeg hollow or canyon gloom, by avalanche, fang or claw, by battle, murder, or sudden death, by pestilence, hooch or lead. Oh, I swore on the book that I'd follow, I'd look, till I found my tombless dead. For Bill, he was a dainty kind of cuss. His mind was mighty sot. On a little patch of flowers and grass and a civilized boneyard lot. And where he died, or how he died, it didn't matter a damn. As long as he had a grave with frills and a tombstone epigram. So I promised him, and he paid the price in good Chichaco coin. That same I blowed that very night, down on the tenderloin. And I painted a 3-foot slab of pine. Here lies poor Bill Mackay. And I hung it on my cabin wall and waited for Bill to die. Well, months passed away. And then one day came a man with a story strange. A long deserted line of traps way up in the Bighorn Range. The little hut by the Great Divide with an old man stiff and still lying there by his lonesome self. I figured it must be Bill. So I thought of that contract I'd made for him, and I took down from the shelf that swell black box with a silver plate that he picked out for himself, and loaded it full of grub and hooch. I slung it on the sleigh, and I harnessed up my husky dogs. I was off at the dawn of day. And say, mate, have you ever stood in the Yukon wild when it's 68 below? When the ice worms wiggle their purple heads through the crust of the pale blue snow, and the pine trees crack like little guns in the silence of the wood, and icicles hang down like tusks under your parka hood. The stovepipe smoke breaks sudden off, and the woods are weirdly lit, and the careless feel of a bit of steel, why it burns like a red-hot spit. And the mercury is a frozen ball the frost fiend stalks to kill. It was just like that the day I started off to look for Bill. And oh, the awful hush that seemed to crush me down on every hand as I blundered blind with a trail to find in that bleak, bitter land, half crazed, half dazed in the winter wild, with the grim, heartbreaking woe, and the sullen strife and the grip of life that only a sourdough knows. North by the compass. North I pressed, river, peak, and plain. It passed like a dream, and I woke to dream again. River and plain and mighty peak? Who could stand unawed as the summits blazed? Who could stand undazed at the foot of the throne of God? North, north, to the land accursed, shunned by the scouring brutes. And all I heard was my own harsh words and the whine of the Malamutes. Till at last I came to a cabin squat, built on the side of a hill. And I burst in the door, and there, on the floor, frozen to death lay Bill. Ice, white ice, sheathing each smoke-rimmed wall, ice on the stovepipe, ice on the bed, ice covering all, sparkling ice on the dead man's chest, glittering ice in his hair, ice in his fingers, ice in his heart, ice in his glassy stare, hard as a log and trussed like a frog with his arms and legs outspread. I thought of the casket I brought for him, and I gazed at the gruesome dead. And then I spoke. Bill liked his joke, but still, Gall durned his eyes. A man that ought to consider his bait, and the way he goes and dies. You ever stood in a Yukon hut by the shadow of the pole, with a little casket, 6 by 3, and a grief you can't control? You ever sat by a frozen corpse that looks at you with a grin and seems to say, why, you can try all day, but you'll never jam me in? Well, I'm not a man of a quitting kind, but I never felt so blue as I sat there staring at that stiff and wondering what to do. Then I arose. I kicked off the husky dogs that were nosing round about. I lit a roaring fire in the stove. I started to thaw Bill out. Well, I thawed and thawed for 13 days. It didn't seem no good. His arms and legs, they stuck out like pegs, as if they were made of wood. And then I said, why, it ain't no use. He's froze too hard to thaw. He's obstinate. He won't lie straight. I guess I'll have to saw. So I sawed off poor Bill's arms and legs, and I laid him snug and straight. That little casket he picked himself with that dinky silver plate. And I came nigh near to shedding a tear as I nailed him safely down. And I stowed him away on my Yukon sleigh, and I headed back to town. And I buried him, as that contract went, in a narrow grave and deep. And there he's waiting that great clean-up, where the judgment's sluice heads sweep. And as I sit, and I smoke my pipe in the land of the midnight sun, I often wonder if there were those awful things I done. And as I sit, and the parson talks, expounding on the law, well, I'll often think of poor old Bill, how hard he was to saw. Good night.
This is Robert Service, with greetings from an old sourdough. I hope tonight, as in White Horse days of long ago, a bunch of you boys are whooping it up. God bless you all. Good night.